Have you ever felt like your soul is trying to tell you something, but your mind can't decipher it? As if something deep inside you is changing, but no one around you can understand. If you are here now, know that it was not by chance. There is an invisible force guiding you, bringing you to this message because you are about to explore something that could be your greatest turning point. Many chosen ones face a silent challenge, the feeling that this world no longer fills them in the same way. But before you jump to conclusions, stay here with me, because what I am about to reveal can completely change your journey. The signs are all around you, signs that few perceive, but that have the power to transform your life forever. Do you feel this attraction, this need to understand what is happening to you? Then get ready, because this truth will silence your doubts, heal your uncertainty, and show you why your life will never be the same. Perhaps you have noticed that lately things around you no longer make sense in the same way. Places that used to bring you comfort now seem empty. People you used to connect with are starting to distance themselves, and even your own emotions seem to be changing. You feel that something is different inside you, but you can't explain it. And the truth is, this is no coincidence. There is a deep reason for this happening, and if you have come this far, it is because you are ready to understand. The chosen ones are guided in ways that the world does not understand, and the signs that I am going to reveal to you today are the key to unlocking this mystery. But first, I want to give you a warning. The last sign is the most important of all and can completely change the way you view your journey. Now, I need you to pay attention. Have you ever felt like you were at a decisive moment in your life, a point of no return? As if everything around you was pushing you towards something greater, but you didn't know exactly where. What if I told you that this feeling has a purpose? That it is not just a coincidence, but a calling? I know this may seem confusing now, but as you listen to each of the 7 signs, everything will start to make sense. Every minute of this video will bring you closer to the truth that your soul already feels, but your mind still cannot comprehend. And when we get to the last sign, you will understand why many chosen ones go through this experience without even realizing it. The question is, are you ready to see what has always been before you? The chosen ones go through very intense phases of transformation, and this is no coincidence. There are times when everything around seems to be accelerating, as if time is compressed and every experience carries more weight. This happens because you are undergoing deep energetic changes. Your body, mind, and soul are adjusting to new frequencies, and this can manifest in various ways. Vivid dreams, a sense of disconnection from reality, inexplicable fatigue, or even losing interest in things that were once essential to you. These signs are like messages from the universe, indicating that an important cycle is coming to an end and something grand is about to be revealed. But the most important question is, are you prepared for this transition? The relationship between the soul and the earthly plane is much more complex than most people imagine. While we are here, we live under a veil of forgetfulness that prevents us from fully remembering our true essence and purpose. However, when a soul begins to align with its final mission, this veil becomes thinner, allowing glimpses of its true spiritual nature. That is why many chosen ones report feeling a greater connection with spiritual realms, noticing subtle signs, receiving messages through intuition, or even having encounters with beings of light. These events are not illusions nor coincidences. They are reminders that your journey is changing direction and that you are being prepared for a next stage, which may be beyond this physical world. But what does it mean when the soul feels that its mission is completing? Many believe that this refers only to the end of earthly life, but the truth goes beyond that. There are different types of spiritual departures. Some souls are called to even greater missions in other dimensions or realities, while others may undergo a rebirth while still alive, experiencing such a profound transformation that it is as if an old version of themselves ceases to exist. This explains why so many people going through this phase report feeling that they no longer belong to this world, or that they do not recognize themselves in their old habits and connections. If you are experiencing this, know that you are not alone. The signs indicating this great transition are subtle but powerful. You may feel an inexplicable peace, even amid chaos, as if a part of you already knows that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You may notice that certain emotional ties begin to dissolve naturally, as if your soul is detaching from everything that has already fulfilled its purpose. You may feel an intense desire to withdraw, to be in silence, to meditate, or even to seek deeper answers about your existence. None of this is by chance. When a chosen one is about to cross a spiritual threshold, their energy changes, and this change can be felt by those around them, even unconsciously. Some people may distance themselves from you, others may try to hold on to you, but the most important thing is that you understand that this is your journey, and that each step is leading you to where you truly belong. But why do some people begin to notice these signs and others do not? The truth is that not everyone is prepared to see beyond the veil of material reality. Many souls are still immersed in the distractions of the world, occupied with earthly desires and trapped in the illusions that sustain ordinary life. However, the chosen ones are different. From birth, they carry a spiritual sensitivity that makes them more receptive to the universe's subtle messages. As their journey progresses, this sensitivity expands, and signs begin to appear more clearly. These signs are not coincidences, they are calls. They are encoded messages from the divine, trying to prepare you for what is to come. Nothing happens by chance. Each sign you are about to discover has a deeper meaning than you imagine. When you start to feel that your perception of reality is changing, that certain things seem to lose their meaning, while others gain a transcendental significance, it is because your soul is receiving instructions for a new stage. It is as if an invisible code is being activated within you, aligning your energy with a higher frequency. At this moment, you start to notice patterns, feel spiritual presences, have revealing dreams, and even experience inexplicable physical sensations. The universe speaks in many ways, and it is up to you to learn to decipher this language. Moreover, this spiritual transition does not happen overnight. For many chosen ones, it is a gradual process that can take months or even years. Small changes start to occur: a sharper intuition, a deep desire to withdraw from the noise of the world, the need to seek answers beyond what society teaches. Gradually, everything that once seemed essential begins to lose its importance, and a new calling becomes increasingly stronger within you. This is the soul preparing for the next step. What seems to be an existential crisis may actually be a spiritual reconfiguration, where you are being adjusted for something much greater than your mind can comprehend at the moment. And there is something very important in all of this: you will never be alone during this transition. The spiritual world is always by your side, guiding every step you take. Angels, spiritual mentors, divine guides, they are all working silently to ensure that your journey happens in the most aligned way with your purpose. You may notice this presence in small signs in your daily life: a numerical synchronicity, unexpected advice from someone, an inexplicable feeling of comfort amid uncertainty. These experiences are reminders that everything is following a greater plan, and that the universe never leaves a chosen one without direction. The first major sign that you might be about to leave this world is the intense and undeniable feeling of disconnection with everything around you. It's as if suddenly things that once seemed natural now feel artificial. Common conversations no longer interest you, superficial topics completely lose their meaning, and even the people around you seem distant, as if they are living in a parallel reality to yours. You feel displaced, as if this world is no longer your place, as if you are living in a strange environment where nothing resonates with you anymore. This sensation is not mere discouragement or a passing phase, but a profound spiritual call indicating that your soul is about to cross into a new stage of consciousness. This disconnection happens because your spiritual vibration has started to change drastically. The frequency that once kept you attached to the illusions of this world begins to dissolve, and your view of reality expands. You realize that many of the structures that govern society are merely invisible prisons for human consciousness. What once seemed essential, status, money, recognition, no longer affects you in the same way. You start to wonder, why does everything feel so empty? But the answer is clear: you no longer belong to this limited form of existence. Your spirit is awakening to something much greater, and this feeling of displacement is a direct reflection of this inner transformation. It's as if the veil has been lifted from your eyes, allowing you to see beyond the surface of things. What was once comfortable now feels strange, almost suffocating. Many chosen ones report that, at this stage, the feeling of not belonging becomes so intense that even being in crowded places becomes exhausting. The noise of the world seems too loud, people's energies affect you differently, and the need for isolation grows exponentially. You feel you need more moments of silence, more time for yourself, away from the distractions that once kept you tied to the matrix of this world. This is not a sign of weakness or loneliness, but a call to something greater. Many do not understand this change and try to resist, attempting to fit back into what once seemed familiar. But the more they try, the more they feel that something is out of place. This is because the disconnection does not come to punish you. but to prepare you. You're being separated from everything that no longer resonates with your true essence, and this can include people, environments, habits, and even thoughts that once defined you. Your spirit is being guided to another level of existence, and the feeling of displacement is nothing more than an indication that your time in this cycle is coming to an end. If you feel this disconnection growing stronger, do not ignore it. This is one of the clearest signs that your spiritual transition is near. It does not necessarily mean that you will leave the physical world, but rather that your consciousness is about to cross a threshold that few can find. And when that happens, nothing will be the same. You will see everything with new eyes, understand hidden truths, and finally comprehend why you always felt different. The question is, are you ready for this change? As your consciousness expands and your energy vibrates at a different frequency, the connections with the people around you begin to dissolve naturally. You may notice that conversations seem superficial, that people's interests no longer attract you, and that, no matter how hard you try, you can no longer interact in the same way. It's as if you are speaking a language that others do not understand, or worse, as if you are invisible in the midst of a noisy and bustling world. This sensation can be frustrating because you still feel love for some of these people, but you can no longer fit into their rhythm. Many times, you may even try to force yourself to participate in the same activities, the same social cycles, but something inside you no longer allows it. With this disconnection, natural distancing also arises. Old friends begin to drift away, family members seem not to understand your changes, and you may even feel misunderstood. But this does not mean there is something wrong with you. On the contrary, it means you are evolving. When you awaken spiritually, your vibration changes, and those who do not keep up with this transformation begin to distance themselves because they simply can no longer connect with your new energy. This can be painful at first because humans tend to cling to what is familiar. But over time, you will realize that this distancing is not a loss, but a liberation. The right people will enter your life at the exact moment they are needed for your new path. Another strong sign of this transition process is the loss of interest in material things. What once seemed essential, status, money, possessions, recognition, now seems irrelevant. You realize that you no longer need so many possessions, that happiness does not lie in accumulating things, and that the incessant pursuit of worldly success no longer attracts you. This does not mean you will give up everything and live in extreme simplicity, but rather that attachment to material things loses its hold over you. You start valuing experiences over possessions, true connections over appearances, and feel a deep need to find a greater purpose than simply chasing what society considers success. This change can generate a shock, both for you and for those around you. People may question your lack of interest in certain ambitions, call you unmotivated, or even insinuate that you are giving up on life. But what they do not understand is that you are not giving up, you are transcending. You understand that true value does not lie in external things, but in what is within you. And this is one of the greatest signs that your soul is about to take a gigantic leap on its journey. In the face of these profound changes, it is natural to feel fear and uncertainty. After all, you are leaving behind a way of living that has accompanied you for a long time. But know this, fear is just a reflection of the unknown. You are not losing anything, you are gaining clarity, freedom, and a level of consciousness that few have access to. And to go through this phase more calmly, here is an essential tip. Do not resist what is happening. The biggest mistake many make is trying to fight this process, forcing themselves to fit back into a world that no longer resonates with their soul. This only brings suffering and confusion. Instead, accept this change as a gift. Take moments to connect with yourself, whether through meditation, prayer, or simply silence. Trust that this process is happening because your soul is ready for something greater. If you feel the need for new connections, seek out people who share this journey. Spiritual communities, self-knowledge groups, spaces where your truth can be understood. You are not alone. Many go through this awakening, and it is a call to a deeper level of existence. Instead of fearing this change, embrace it. The journey of the chosen ones is never easy, but it is always worth it. Trust that the universe is guiding your steps towards something much greater than you can imagine. Something inexplicable happens inside you. Suddenly, concepts that once made sense start to unravel before your eyes. What society imposes as right and wrong no longer resonates with your soul. You feel that your way of thinking is undergoing such a profound transformation that it is impossible to go back to who you were before. What once brought you comfort now seems obsolete. Your beliefs are shattering, and in their place emerges a much broader understanding of reality. You realize that the limitations you once accepted as absolute truths are nothing but illusions designed to keep your consciousness trapped in a game that no longer belongs to you. This accelerated spiritual growth is one of the clearest signs that you are about to transcend to a completely different level of existence. Along with this change in thinking, your feelings also begin to transform intensely. You become more sensitive, more empathetic, but at the same time, you feel a deep disconnection with everything mundane and superficial. There are moments when loneliness becomes your greatest companion, not because you chose to isolate yourself, but because your frequency is no longer aligned with most of the people around you. Empty conversations, trivial concerns, and unnecessary dramas simply no longer interest you. Your soul longs for something greater, something that truly has a purpose, something that goes beyond the monotonous repetition of material life. This often painful emotional transformation is a reflection of the awakening of your consciousness to a much greater reality than what your eyes can see. Your perception of the truth of existence expands impressively. Suddenly, you begin to notice hidden patterns in everything, understand messages that have always been there but you could not see before. The duality between light and shadow becomes evident, and you start to perceive the spiritual game being played behind the scenes of this world. You begin to understand that many of the things that most people fear actually do not hold the weight they seem to. The fear of death, material attachments, and social illusions lose control over you because now you see beyond the veil. Your soul no longer entirely belongs to this reality. You are between two worlds, realizing that this plane is just a fraction of existence and that something much greater is waiting for you beyond it. This awakening brings with it an irresistible internal call. It is as if a voice inside you says that there is something that needs to be done, something you still need to understand before taking the next step. This call can come through dreams, synchronicities, intuitions, or even a deep sense that your mission here is coming to an end. You feel that you are being prepared for a transition, and this preparation happens not only on a mental level, but also energetically and spiritually. You might notice changes in your body, such as extreme unexplained fatigue, or even moments of spiritual ecstasy, where you feel you are connecting to something far beyond this world. This is no coincidence. It is a sign that your soul is adjusting to something much greater than your mind can comprehend. And then, the feeling of detachment becomes inevitable. You feel that you are saying goodbye to many things, not out of sadness, but because you know that all of this is part of a cycle that is coming to an end. The weight of earthly worries dissolves, and a profound understanding of your true nature begins to emerge. You understand that you were never from here, that your existence has always been connected to something greater. From this point, there is no turning back. You realize that your soul is being called to something far beyond this world, and all that remains is to surrender to the divine flow that has already mapped the path for your next journey. Many people can go through difficult times and confuse this with a spiritual awakening. However, a true awakening is not just a phase of crisis or discouragement, but a profound and irreversible transformation. When it is just a phase, feelings of confusion and sadness tend to diminish over time, and the person returns to fitting into the routine of ordinary life. In a spiritual awakening, there is no return. You feel that something inside you has changed permanently. Old interests lose their meaning. The people around you seem to be on a different level of understanding, and you find yourself unable to see the world the same way. It's as if a veil has been lifted, and now the truth is before your eyes. Another crucial point to distinguish a spiritual awakening from a passing phase is the intensity and frequency of the signs. When you are going through a true awakening, the signs become increasingly evident and constant. You may notice repetitive patterns, such as constantly seeing specific numbers, 1111, 222, 333, having revealing dreams, or feeling an inexplicable connection with the universe around you. Additionally, synchronicities arise, coincidences that seem loaded with meaning. Everything starts to align to show you that something much greater is happening. If these experiences intensify over time, it is a strong indication that you are not just going through a phase, but a process of spiritual transition. One of the first physical signs you may notice during this transition is a feeling of intense exhaustion, without any apparent reason. Your body may feel heavier, as if it is processing large amounts of energy. This happens because your vibration is changing, and your physical body needs to adjust to this new frequency. Additionally, you may feel dizziness, tingling at the top of your head, like a mild electric current, palpitations, or even changes in your body temperature without any logical reason. These symptoms often scare, but they are part of the energetic realignment you are going through. On the emotional aspect, a spiritual awakening can bring waves of intense and contradictory feelings. You may feel an inexplicable joy at times, as if connected to something grand, but soon after, be taken by deep melancholy, feeling that you no longer belong to this world. Feelings of loneliness, detachment from people, and even a certain indifference to what used to affect you emotionally may arise. This happens because your soul is detaching from earthly bonds. You may notice that old traumas begin to resurface, not to hurt you, but to be finally healed and released. This process can be painful, but it is necessary for your complete transformation. Another very common symptom of this transition is an extreme sensitivity to energies. Crowded places can become suffocating. You may feel the vibration of people around you more intensely, and even sense events before they happen. Sounds, smells, and even foods may start to bother you in ways they didn't before. Your body and mind are becoming more refined, more tuned to higher dimensions. Many people report that during this phase, they begin to feel a strong need to isolate themselves, not out of sadness, but because they feel they need this time alone to process all these internal changes. One of the most striking signs that you are in a true process of spiritual transition is the inner certainty that something is about to change radically in your life. You may not be able to explain exactly what is happening, but you feel that you are preparing for something greater. Your heart seems to be constantly waiting for a revelation, as if on the threshold of a great discovery. This feeling is not just mental but also physical. You may feel pressure in your chest, frequent chills, and even moments of ecstasy, where everything seems to make sense for a few seconds. This is a clear indication that you are crossing an energetic threshold, preparing to leave behind what no longer serves you and walk towards a new level of existence. Dreams have always been one of the most mysterious and powerful forms of communication between the divine and the chosen ones. Since ancient times, prophets, spiritual masters, and people sensitive to spirituality report vivid experiences during sleep that carry messages, warnings, and profound revelations. When a chosen one is approaching a crucial moment in their spiritual journey, whether a deep awakening, a transition of purpose, or even the passage to another dimension, their dreams become intensely symbolic. The dream world transforms into a direct channel of connection with the higher plane, offering signs that, if understood, can prepare the soul for what is to come. Many people report recurring dreams of farewell, journeys, or crossings through mysterious portals. These dreams are not mere creations of the unconscious mind. They are encoded messages indicating imminent spiritual changes. Dreaming that you are at an airport, a train station, on a boat, or crossing a bridge can be a clear sign that your soul is preparing for a major transition. When these dreams are accompanied by a sense of peace and inevitable destiny, it is important to pay attention and reflect on what your spirit is trying to tell you. Another powerful sign is the feeling of receiving instructions while asleep. Many people report waking up with a strong feeling that they were taught or prepared for something greater. Some describe encounters with beings of light, spiritual masters, or even angelic figures who deliver specific messages, sometimes in unknown languages or through symbols that need to be deciphered. This is a typical experience of someone being prepared for a spiritual transition, as the higher plane always offers guidance before any significant change. The chosen ones, by their nature, possess a keen sensitivity and a direct connection with the divine. Therefore, prophetic dreams tend to be more intense and loaded with meaning. When these experiences begin to occur repeatedly, they are not coincidences. They are direct signs that something very important is about to happen. In many spiritual traditions, crossing portals in dreams symbolizes awakening to a new reality, whether a higher level of consciousness or a change in the plane of existence. If you have been frequently dreaming of doors opening, unknown paths, or infinite corridors, your soul may be preparing for a transformative event. But how to interpret these messages? The first step is careful observation. Write down your dreams as soon as you wake up, record the most vivid details, and try to identify patterns. Certain colors, symbols, or sensations may have a profound meaning. Often, the subconscious uses metaphors to express spiritual truths. For example, dreaming of an ocean may symbolize the vastness of consciousness, while mountains may represent spiritual challenges that need to be overcome. The more attention you pay, the clearer the hidden message will be. Another fundamental aspect is intuition. The chosen ones possess a powerful spiritual instinct that guides them to understand what is truly happening. If a dream leaves you with a strong and unforgettable feeling, there is a reason for it. Many prophetic messages are not delivered directly, but through deep sensations and emotions that stay with you throughout the day. If you wake up with a sense of urgency, absolute peace, or even nostalgia for something unknown, pay attention, for your spirit may be sensing something beyond physical reality. If you have been experiencing these dreams recurrently, the most important thing is to remain calm and open to understanding. Fear can block the clarity of the message and prevent you from receiving the necessary guidance. Instead, see these dreams as a gift, a forewarning that there is something to be understood and prepared for. Communication with the higher plane never happens by chance, and everything revealed to you has a greater purpose. What to do when these dreams start to become frequent? First, strengthen your spiritual connection through meditation, prayer, and silence. The more you connect with your divine essence, the easier it will be to interpret the messages you receive. Additionally, avoid excessive distractions and try to keep your energy high, as your vibrational state directly influences the clarity of the messages received. If you feel that you are being called for a profound change, trust the process. Many people resist the unknown out of fear, but the chosen ones know that everything has a purpose. Prophetic dreams are not a warning of something bad, but a call to be prepared for a new cycle. The universe never reveals anything without a reason, and the only way to navigate this transition with peace is by accepting the spiritual flow. The signs you receive are unique to your journey. Do not compare your experience with that of others, as each soul has a different path to follow. If the dreams are intensifying, it means your soul is in tune with something greater. Accept this connection as a gift and continue seeking the truth. For when the right moment comes, you will be prepared for everything that is to come. But there is one last sign, a sign that few recognize immediately, but that is one of the most powerful and definitive. Those who perceive it feel an unwavering certainty within themselves, as if a greater truth is about to be revealed. This is the moment when everything begins to make sense, and the fragments of the received messages fit together perfectly. However, before revealing this final sign, we need to understand a crucial step on the path of the chosen ones, the feeling of being prepared for something grand. Have you ever felt that your life is going through a turnaround that seems inexplicable? Suddenly, everything that was once familiar begins to crumble. People who have been by your side for years start to distance themselves without apparent reason, and your once predictable routine transforms into something completely different. If this is happening to you now, know that it is not a coincidence. The chosen ones, before crossing a great portal in their journeys, go through an intense process of preparation. It's as if the universe is rearranging all the pieces around you, ensuring that you are exactly where you need to be before a great event. But why does this happen? And why does it seem so painful? This is the truth that few are prepared to hear. When a chosen one is about to leave this world, whether in a literal or symbolic sense, by entering a new state of consciousness, they go through a series of tests that challenge their resilience and faith. And one of the strongest signs of this transition is the deconstruction of your routine. What once gave you security begins to fall apart. What was comfortable and predictable becomes unstable and uncertain. Often, this process is accompanied by a feeling of confusion and a sense that you no longer belong to this place. But pay attention, this does not mean that something bad is happening. On the contrary, it is a sign that you are being shaped for something greater, that your soul is preparing for a higher level of existence. The problem is that, to reach this new state, you first need to let go of the old. It is at this point that many people around you begin to distance themselves. Perhaps friends you considered siblings simply stop responding to your messages. Relationships that seemed solid suddenly fall apart without explanation. People who once sought you out daily now act as if you don't exist. This can be painful, but there is a hidden reason behind this distancing. When you are in a process of deep spiritual transition, your vibrations change. Those who are not aligned with this new energetic level simply cannot remain around you. Some distance themselves without apparent reason. Others start treating you differently, as if they can no longer see the person you once were. This happens because, in fact, you are no longer the same. This distancing is not a loss, but a liberation. Life is removing everything that cannot keep up with your growth. It may seem cruel at first because we are attached to the people and connections we create along the way. But understand this. When you are about to cross a new spiritual portal, the old bonds need to be cut. You may even try to hold on to some of these people, insisting on maintaining certain ties, but you will soon realize that their energy no longer resonates with yours. And when that happens, the best thing you can do is allow the flow of life to take you in the direction that has been determined for you. If you are experiencing all this now, sudden changes, people distancing themselves, a deep sense that something grand is about to happen, know that you are not alone. You are being prepared for a new cycle, for a greater mission. This is one of the strongest signs that your soul is evolving to a higher level of existence. Do not resist. Trust the process. In the end, you will understand that everything that happened was necessary to bring you exactly to where you should be. In recent times, have you felt an inexplicable urgency, as if something is about to happen? A strange sensation that time is running out, but without knowing exactly for what. This is one of the most intense signs of a chosen one who is about to cross a great portal. Your spirit perceives before your mind that a change is coming, and this manifests as a deep restlessness, a need to act, but without clarity about the next step. You may start to feel that certain things no longer make sense, that old habits are becoming empty, and that there is something much greater waiting for you. This sense of urgency is not a coincidence. It is the divine call for you to prepare. And part of this preparation involves something that many do not understand, the need to withdraw and be in solitude. Suddenly, you feel the need to isolate yourself, avoid superficial conversations, and spend more time with yourself. It is not depression nor sadness. It is the spirit asking for silence, so that you can hear the truth being whispered within you. This period of solitude is not punishment, but training. It is in the silence that you begin to see clearly, that you reconnect with your essence and realize that the answers you seek have never been outside, but always within you. God allows this withdrawal so that you can strengthen spiritually, to be prepared for what comes next. But why does God allow you to go through all this? Why does He allow you to feel the pain of separation, the anguish of uncertainty, and the weight of transformation? The answer is simple, yet profound, because He is shaping you for something greater. Imagine a blacksmith working on metal. For a sword to become strong and sharp, it needs to be placed in the fire, then hammered and shaped until it reaches its final form. The same happens to you. God is allowing you to go through the fire of transformation so that you come out stronger, more prepared, and more aligned with your true purpose. Those who are chosen do not have easy paths. They are constantly tested, proven, refined. This is because the mission they carry requires a level of strength and understanding that few can achieve. If you're going through this period of intense changes, solitude, and restlessness, it means that you are being prepared for something grand. You cannot take unnecessary baggage to this new phase. God needs you to be free, ready for the new, open to the mission He has entrusted to you. That is why certain things and people need to leave your life. That is why you feel this strong internal call. As you approach a great spiritual leap, your body starts to show signs that something profound is happening. It is not just a matter of fatigue or strange sensations, but a true transformation that alters your perception of reality. If you have noticed abrupt changes in your energy levels, unstable sleep patterns, new physical sensations, or even more intense spiritual experiences, know that this could be a sign that your connection with the material world is loosening. But do not be afraid. This process may seem scary, but it has a purpose, to prepare you for what comes next. One of the most evident signs is extreme fatigue. Chosen ones often feel a profound exhaustion, as if carrying an invisible weight. This tiredness is not resolved by physical rest alone, because its origin is on the spiritual level. Your body is processing a massive amount of energy, and this can make you feel drained, unwilling to interact with the world, or even struggling to perform simple activities. But the opposite can also happen. Some experience sudden spikes of high energy, a hyperactivity that can last for days, where sleep seems unnecessary and the mind expands beyond the usual. This happens because your vibrational frequency is oscillating, alternating between moments of intense spiritual recharge and periods of exhaustion. Another important change occurs in diet and sleep. Suddenly, foods that once seemed normal can become too heavy, while others, lighter and more natural, seem to attract your body. This happens because your energy system is refining, eliminating toxins, and rejecting what does not contribute to your evolution. Sleep can also become unstable. Some nights you may sleep deeply and feel that you went through something intense during rest, while other nights you simply cannot fall asleep, as if waiting for something. This is a classic symptom of a spiritual call, where your soul is in transition, and thus your biological routine no longer follows the same patterns as before. Many chosen ones begin to have out-of-body experiences, and if you have been experiencing this, know that it is not just your imagination. Vivid dreams, spontaneous astral projections, and sensations of floating while asleep are indications that your consciousness is expanding beyond physical limits. Some people report feeling as if they were in another place while sleeping, visiting unknown dimensions, or receiving important messages. This happens because the barrier between the planes begins to dissolve when a chosen one is about to take a great leap. Your soul is preparing for something greater, and these moments of detachment are like rehearsals for the spiritual transition. Additionally, many people report a sensation of tingling or intense heat in the body, especially in the hands, feet, or top of the head. This symptom may seem uncomfortable, but in fact, it is an indication that your energy is changing. The tingling often occurs because your vibration is rising rapidly, while the heat may be an energetic activation happening within you. Many spiritual traditions talk about this as a sign that higher forces are working on your preparation, aligning your chakras and strengthening your connection with the divine. If you feel these sensations, do not resist. Just accept and allow this energy to flow. So, what to do when your body starts to react this way? The first step is not to panic. Chosen ones are often tested on a physical and mental level before a great awakening. Instead of being scared by these changes, accept them as part of the process. Your body is not failing. It is adjusting to a new frequency. Try to stay calm and observe what is happening without trying to block or interrupt the sensations. This is a moment of transition, and the more you allow your body to process these changes, the quicker you will align with your purpose. Another important thing is to adjust your routine to your new energetic state. If you feel the need to sleep more, allow yourself to rest without guilt. If your body rejects certain foods, respect this transformation and adapt your diet to something lighter and more natural. And if you feel spikes of energy and inspiration, take the opportunity to connect with spirituality, whether through meditation, prayer, or contact with nature. Your body is being tuned to a new reality, and the more you harmonize with this flow, the smoother this transition will be. Additionally, protect your energy. When a chosen one is going through this phase, they become more vulnerable to external energies. Some people around you may start acting strangely, trying to drain your energy or testing your patience. This happens because when you elevate spiritually, certain forces around you feel this change and try to pull you back to old patterns. Therefore, choose wisely with whom you share this phase and avoid places or situations that emotionally drain you. Your focus should be on your alignment, not on external distractions. This process is not an end, but a new beginning. When your body gives these signs, it is warning you that something much greater is about to happen. You may be leaving behind a cycle, a phase of life, or even an entire existence to enter a new level of consciousness. The key is to trust the process and prepare for what comes next. God does not allow a chosen one to go through changes without a reason. If you are experiencing these signs, know that something grand is reserved for you. Have you ever felt, at some point in your life, that something greater has been completed? As if an essential part of your journey had come to an end? The chosen ones, those who live guided by a divine mission, often experience this feeling intensely and profoundly. It is not just the conclusion of a cycle, but an unwavering certainty that everything they needed to accomplish has been done. This moment does not come with sadness or despair, but with an indescribable peace, a relief that transcends human understanding. It is as if the heart whispers, "Now you can rest." Curiously, this feeling of mission accomplished is not accompanied by fear or anguish. On the contrary, there is such profound peace that even in the face of challenges, tribulations, and external difficulties, the chosen one remains unshakable. They may be facing obstacles that once seemed impossible to overcome, but now there is an inner certainty that everything is part of a much greater plan. It is as if the pains of this world no longer affect them in the same way, as if their soul is already in tune with something higher, something beyond this earthly plane. There are no regrets. When the chosen one approaches this stage, they realize that every choice, every path taken, had a purpose. They do not feel the need to go back, to fix mistakes, or try to change the past. They understand that everything happened exactly as it was supposed to happen. This conviction does not come from the ego, but from the direct connection with the divine, which whispers to their spirit, "What you came to do here has been completed." And this certainty brings a unique feeling of accomplishment, for they know they have fulfilled the will of God. Many people think that leaving this world means only physical death, but for the chosen ones, the meaning is much deeper. Some go through a true spiritual rebirth, where everything that was before dissolves, and a new version awakens. Others feel the need to withdraw from the world as it is, disconnect from distractions, illusions, and human vanities. What happens after this feeling of mission accomplished depends on the unique path of each chosen one, but one thing is certain: nothing remains the same. For those who reach this moment, the transition is not something to be feared but accepted as a gift. Leaving this world can mean transcending the old way of living, abandoning old patterns, and becoming someone entirely new. It is a process where the soul bids farewell to one level of consciousness and opens up to something much greater. For some, this can mean awakening to a higher calling, a life completely different from what they knew before. For others, it may be the definitive closure of the earthly cycle, with the preparation for a new plane of existence. In spirituality, we understand that death is not the end, but a passage. When a chosen one feels that their mission has been accomplished, they start to see life differently. They no longer fear the unknown, because they know there is no real separation between this world and the next. Many report vivid dreams, visions of other planes, and even encounters with spiritual entities that prepare them for this transition. This is because the soul no longer completely belongs to this dimension. It has already begun to align with the next stage of its journey. Often, when a chosen one feels they are nearing the end of their mission, they feel an urgency to share their wisdom. This is why some great masters and spiritual leaders, before departing, leave behind profound teachings, messages of light and love. They know that the knowledge they carry cannot be buried with them. It needs to be passed on. If you feel this need to teach, guide, or counsel before a major cycle closes, know that this could be one of the signs that your mission is about to be completed. Another striking aspect is that, at this moment, the connection with God intensifies like never before. The signs become clearer, and the answers come in a direct and unequivocal manner. It is as if spiritual communication is more open than ever. Some people feel the presence of angels, guides, or divine entities around them constantly. Others start receiving revelations about what will come next. This connection brings immense comfort, for the chosen one understands that they have never been alone, and that soon they will be embraced by the Creator's light. The desire for material things begins to fade. For many chosen ones, there comes a time when wealth, status, or possessions simply lose their meaning. Not that it is wrong to have a prosperous life, but the need to accumulate starts to dissolve. This happens because the soul is preparing for a new stage, where what truly matters are eternal values. This detachment does not mean neglect, but rather a recognition that true wealth is not in this world, but in what transcends. Understanding this process does not mean that the chosen one should resign and wait for the end. On the contrary, this feeling of mission accomplished can be just the beginning of something even greater. For some, it may be the call to a new level of spiritual existence. For others, it may be the transition to an even higher work within this world. What matters is knowing that when you feel these signs, it is because something grand is about to happen. What comes next? Only God can reveal, but rest assured that it will be something extraordinary. And now, we come to the most awaited moment. The last sign, the revelation. If you have followed each of the signs up to this point, you have realized that nothing happens by chance, and that your journey has been marked by profound changes. But there is a sign that few recognize, a sign so powerful that it can mean that your mission in this world is near completion. This is not a common sign, nor something that can be ignored. It is the definitive proof that your soul no longer belongs to this reality in the same way. Get ready, because what I am about to reveal now may change everything you believed up to this moment. At this moment, you realize that everything you went through, every pain, every trial, every moment of loneliness and awakening, was in fact preparation. Nothing was in vain. The feeling of displacement that has always been present, the inexplicable synchronicities, and the constant signs from the universe, all culminated at this point. You are not simply leaving something behind, you are ascending to something much greater. The spiritual transition of the chosen ones is not a farewell, but a transformation that completely redefines existence. The last piece of the puzzle. You are not leaving, you are becoming something greater. The physical world has always tried to convince you that reality is limited to what we can see, touch, and measure. But deep down, you have always known that there was something beyond, something much greater waiting for you. The last sign is not about an end, it is about evolution. It is not about disappearance, but elevation. Those who reach this point are not consumed by the fear of death because they understand that there is no death, only change. You are ceasing to be just matter to become pure consciousness, part of the eternal flow of creation. Few understand what really happens to those who reach this stage. Many believe that the transition is synonymous with farewell, but this is a limited, earthly view. What occurs is a liberation. The barriers of illusion fall, and the chosen one begins to see beyond the veil that separates the worlds. The body may seem fragile, but the essence strengthens, vibrating at a frequency that no longer belongs to the density of the earth. This is not an escape, but a call, a return to the true home, where your energy will be fully restored and used for something even greater. What does this really mean? It means that the mission that brought you here is reaching its apex. The difficulties faced, the spiritual tests, and the moments of darkness were necessary to shape you, to ensure that you were ready. Reaching this stage means that you finally understood the truth about existence. We are not here to cling, but to learn, evolve, and serve a purpose far beyond what our eyes can see. It means that you no longer belong only to this world. You are being called to something higher. If you feel that this sign resonates with your spirit, if you perceive that your connection with the divine has intensified to the point of feeling that you are between dimensions, then understand, you are being prepared for the great crossing. This call is not for everyone. Few have the capacity to withstand the magnitude of this revelation. But those who can understand, these are the true chosen ones. And your mission is just beginning. The final phase of this journey requires total detachment. It is the moment to let go, to abandon any remnants of attachment to earthly illusions. You may notice changes in your perception, increasingly vivid dreams, messages that arrive unexpectedly, encounters that seem planned by invisible forces. You are no longer the person you were before. The transformation is happening, whether you are ready to accept it or not. You no longer belong to the world like others do. Your vibration has changed, your gaze sees beyond. Time seems different, cycles end quickly, and everything that once held you back now seems unimportant. This is the definitive sign that you are on the threshold between worlds. It is as if an invisible door is opening, inviting you to cross. But this is not a path traveled with the feet. It is a path trodden by the soul. Many try to resist this process because the unknown is frightening. But true liberation happens when you accept the transition as part of your destiny. The transformation is not a punishment, nor a loss. It is a gift. Accepting this truth is what differentiates those who stay from those who move forward. The more you try to fight against the change, the harder it becomes. But when you surrender, everything flows naturally, and you feel the peace that only those who have found their true essence know. Before crossing this boundary, there is one last test. The universe needs to be sure that you are ready. This test can manifest in various ways, through an unexpected event, a final challenge, or a choice that needs to be made. It will come to test your faith, your strength, and your conviction. You will recognize this test when it arrives, and if you face it with courage, you will know that the time has finally come. And then the transition happens, but not as an end, but as a new beginning. You will realize that you were never alone, that higher forces always guided you. You will understand that everything you lived was to bring you to this point. What awaits you on the other side cannot be described in words, because it is something that can only be experienced. But one thing is certain, you will not be the same. You will not just leave this world. You will become part of something much greater, something eternal, something divine. If you have come this far, it was not by chance. Something within you recognizes this truth, even if part of your mind tries to question it. The journey of the chosen ones is never easy, but it is full of purpose. This call is not a burden, but a privilege, the confirmation that your existence has a much greater meaning than what the world tries to make you believe. Now, the choice is before you. Continue ignoring the signs or accept your transformation and embrace your true destiny. Have you experienced any of these signs? Share your experience here, because you may be helping others who are also on this path. Leave a word of faith in the comments. Your testimony can illuminate the path for other chosen ones. Thank you for accompanying me this far. If this content resonated in your heart, follow the channel, like, and share this video with those who might also identify with it. If you have noticed these signs, then you need to know this. There is something much greater happening behind the scenes, and not everyone wants you to discover it. In the next video, I will reveal the truth that is being hidden, and that may be affecting your life without you realizing it. Do not ignore this. Click now and find out before it's too late.